Well, it appears DC Studios is finally getting ahead of steam. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about all these projects that are finally moving forward with a big update from a Hollywood insider. We're going to talk Lobo, Supergirl, Sgt Rock, and Waller. Well, I know I really was not alone when you started to get sort of frustrated how slowly the DCU was shaping up. Superman currently is in post-production, and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow just kicked off shooting over in the UK. We also have Lanterns currently in production, although we don't know a lot about that series. We do know Kyle Chandler and Aaron Pierre are set to play Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and it's going to be some sort of grounded mystery in the heartland of America, and we'll likely get a release date for this sometime in the next 6 months. Although I don't expect to see the series until probably early next year. We also got a full season of Creature Commandos, so we really have gotten our early taste of the DCU, but it really didn't help that strikes and some other delays kind of kept this from taking shape sooner. But it seems like, at this point, things are finally building ahead of steam. Now, earlier this week, we got an update from Hollywood insider Daniel Richtman, and he kind of gave us a peek into what's going on with multiple DC projects, so I thought we could take a minute and just talk about each and every one of them. Now, as I just said, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow has just kicked off production, and in case you didn't know, it was reported that the reason this went into production so fast is that the script was, quote, so good that James Gunn was eager to get the writer, Anna Nagora, involved in multiple other DCU projects. Now, you may remember, she was actually attached to write the Supergirl movie that was spinning out of The Flash, and that was going to have Sasha Kelly as part of the project, but that eventually became scrapped, but she impressed the DC executives so much that James Gunn has kept her on, and now it seems like she's moving on to an even bigger impact on the DC world. Now, one of the biggest stories out of the Supergirl film was the addition of Lobo. We reported a couple of weeks ago that Jason Momoa had actually joined the cast, but honestly, we all sort of saw this as one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. Momoa had pined for the role for years, and a couple of months ago when James Gunn took over, he was celebrating something, and with Aquaman making an exit, well, Lobo was the logical answer. Now, what we are hearing is that he's expected to play a, well, rather small role in the Supergirl movie, but this will open the door to him getting his own DCU projects down the line. Now, what these projects look like, I think, is the big question. Will this be a film or even a Max series? Honestly, given the nature of the Lobo character, I would really rather see him up on the big screen, but I could see him as a TVMA Max project, assuming the budget can be kept under control. This is going to be a key aspect of James Gunn bringing these characters to life, maintaining a budget. But I think the fan excitement behind Jason Momoa's Lobo is probably close to akin to Deadpool, and they could really have one of those highly loved fan characters in this casting and could be a huge boon for the early DCU. Now, he did have some other minor updates for upcoming projects, with those being the Waller TV series and the Sgt Rock movie. Now, according to Richtman, the Waller TV series will indeed kick off production in this coming year, and since we know Peacemaker's coming our way this fall, well, that makes a lot of sense, especially as a follow-up. We saw Amanda Waller and Rick Flag Sr. as part of Creature Commandos, and we know Rick Flag Sr. is going to be part of Peacemaker Season 2, so the interconnected nature of these shows is already starting to be felt, and Waller going into production so fast after Peacemaker indicates to me this is going to be a key part of the story, and this might kind of be a below-the-radar Suicide Squad series, because it could very well feature a lot of characters from either Task Force X or M, and with them all so well established now, well, Gunn's probably going to have a lot of fun with this. I fully expect to see Alan Tudyk's Dr. Phosphorus one way or another. Now, another project he did report was coming our way and will kick off production in the coming year will be Sgt Rock. Now, we do know Daniel Craig is attached to this project and is playing the title character. Now, what version of Sgt Rock we get, that is still the big question, because typically this is a World War II story. In more recent years, we have seen him literally working with the Creature Commandos and crossing over that supernatural line, even though it was set in World War II. If I'm making any guesses, G.I. Robot is definitely going to be part of this film. We saw Sgt Rock in Creature Commandos, so the framework for this story is already in place, and with G.I. Robot on board, well, I think it'll allow Gunn to lean more into the fantastical for Sgt Rock, but that's not to say you couldn't have a great, grounded World War II story really focused on the early days of the comics, which I know there are a lot of fans of. Now, beyond this, we also know Clayface is coming our way probably in 2027, along with the Batman Part 2. Plus, we've recently heard from James Mangold about Swamp Thing and how this is going to be a real standalone horror story. So there are a lot of other things happening behind the scenes at DC. So we're going to keep our eyes and ears peeled for some specific updates so we can bring them to you right away. Until we know more, what do you guys think? What is your most anticipated DC project coming your way in the next year? And do you think any of these DC projects are real huge sleeper hits? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, before you take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, ring that bell for all the updates, and make sure you get every notification because we do daily Marvel and DC content and we don't want you to miss any news.